Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Anna and I'm a psychologist specialized in emotional and binge eating, and I want to cover sugar addiction as one of probably the most controversial topics. Are we addicted to sugar or aren't we addicted to sugar, and what's my stance on it as someone who works with people that are constantly binge eating on sugar in particular. So you will find evidence that says that sugar affects the brain just like cocaine, and because of that we can say that it's addictive. But on the other hand, some other researchers would say that they haven't found any conclusive results that would imply that it has exactly that same effect. In my personal opinion, as someone who eats moderate amounts of sugar almost on a daily basis, and I don't think that my brain is anyhow different than yours, I believe that there is a way to make sugar fit into your diet by consuming it in the amounts that will not affect you in the way that you just need to continuously binge on it. What I mean by that, I think a lot of people label themselves as sugar addicts or that they cannot stop eating. But then I scratch a little bit under the surface and I say, okay, but there are so many people who can eat sweets in moderation. So that's a counter argument that we will all be addicted once we start eating sugar. For most people that I have encountered, and that was my case for over 20 years, I wholeheartedly believed that sugar is devil. It's demonized. It's a bad food, an unhealthy food, and it will bring you no good besides, weight gain and an addiction. But because of that belief, I removed completely sugar from my diet. I'm not talking fruits, but anything which was added processed, foods with sugar, I was not eating it. And guess what? Yes, I maybe felt for a split second physically better, but mentally took a toll on me, because even though I knew that I should not be eating those foods, as I was told, I still craved them. And then I would go on this journey of not eating sweets and then binge on them like no tomorrow. Full weekend of cheat meals. And this is something that I see more often than not when people decide to quit sugar completely, and then something happens in their lives, they get triggered, they are sleep deprived, or they have certain emotions that they don't know how to handle. They go back to what they know will give them a high or a boost or a kick, and that's usually sugar. And then they eat massive amounts of sugar because they were depriving themselves. And then when they look at all these wraps, they say, okay, so I've eaten a box of cookies, a pint of ice cream, I don't know how many slices of pizza, I don't know how many donuts, and they blame those foods as being addictive. We should probably ask ourselves, is it really that food that's addictive? Or did you restrict yourself for so long while continuously thinking about the food that you cannot have, that once you were given the permission to eat, be it a cheat day, be it a planned binge, whatever, you just couldn't stop because you plan to go back on a very restrictive diet? How about we reverse things? How about we say that we have 80-90% of the meals that are whole foods, nutritious dense foods, good combination of, good carbs, protein and fats, and then we take a small, chocolate as part of a meal. I personally think that that will calm your brain much more, rather than thinking that removing that will make you not want to have it. Everyone nowadays knows that a chocolate doesn't have maybe, or a donut, a high nutrition value like maybe some protein or a fruit, but they still eat it. People still eat it. You still eat it. So how can you make it a part of a balanced meal? You can make it part of a balanced meal by introducing those foods in moderation as part of your meal. So after lunch or after dinner, have a scoop or two of ice cream, or have, a square of dark chocolate if you want to, for you to calm your brain, for you to understand that you're not depriving yourself, that you're not restricting yourself. When you get that information to your brain that you're allowing yourself to eat a variety of foods, you will not obsessively think about the foods that you cannot have, mainly sugar. So in that instance, my point is that you're not necessarily addicted to sugar. You are more convincing yourself that you are, because every time you have binged on sugar, you have binged on such big amounts without understanding that maybe that's coming from the restrictive aspect of your diet rather than how sugar is addictive in itself. Let me know in the comments what do you think. Is sugar bad for you? Do you have a so-called sugar addiction, and how do you plan to beat it?